With stitches in my lip, staples in my head, and glass in my arse, I stand before you to tell you that this tramp is still the champ. This past Sunday at Revolution, it was my Hollywood ending, and a chunk of my heart will be gone forever. But when I look at this, it was well worth it. And now it's time for a new beginning. It is my honor to be your AEW Women's World Champion. Because this is the most talented locker room in all of professional wrestling. But we have so many different champions. The other world title is in a bloody briefcase. We have forever champions. We have belt collectors. But when you fight with me, it's like visiting the zoo. Because I bleed like a pig, I lick like a giraffe, and I will eat you like a lion. I promise you'll never hear me meow, because I promise that I am no pussy. Nobody swings like Tony Storm, so ladies, put your keys in the bowl and let's get this orgy started. It will be messy and it will be sweaty.
Can I come?
But it will always be timeless.
What a performance. Amazing.
Gentlemen, please welcome John Cena!
In 3, 2, 1, clap. Benoit balls.
I still think Kevin Sullivan did it.
I'm Aubrey Edwards. I'm not a wrestler.
Tony's quick sniffs of the week.
No, just my dickhead friends causing concussions and shit. All right, never mind.
There's barbecue sauce. So good, half the face don't work.
With Hogan that close up on the fucking camera reminds me of my racist uncle. I know you ain't listening, but you know who you are, you fucking racist.
Uncle Oh my God, for real, don't tell me that's his name. Oh, no way. I was kidding. I swear to God. I was scared. It was just the first name that came to my head. It was the first name.
Welcome to the Top of Wrestling with your hosts, ODM and the Professor.
For the 250th time, Good Wrestling Day. Welcome back, everybody. Top of Wrestling Podcast. It's the Professor, and it's ODM, and we're here for the 250th episode. I mean, I'm not sure when we have to stop, or when we should stop counting, but I think that's a pretty big number, and it's because, you know, we always use the line, man, this got started pretty much right around the pandemic. It was just before, so it's not like we did it out of boredom. But we're actually going to address that today as well. But a lot of stuff we're talking about. We had a TNA pay-per-view this past weekend. We got news. We got results. We got to bring it to the table with the Monday Night Wars from WCW Uncensored 2000. It was uncensored, correct?
It was uncensored.
So, okay, all right. And our topic. You know, a couple of weeks ago we did the IT Crowd, a show that ODM suggested, and I'm going round 2 for another one that he suggested to me, The League. And, hey, if you guys listened to last week's show, we appreciate it. The internet fucking sucks. Who knows who was saying what. But, hey, let's get into the news. Not only are we back, but so is Rusev and Lana. What do you think of that, ODM? They renewed their vows.
I'm thinking that you were so hyped up about this being our 250th episode, you never officially turned it over to me. So, hi, folks. How you doing?
I was so hyped up. I was like, let's get into the news. I know. But then I segued over and said, what do you think of it, ODM? I really don't give a fuck what you think.
You brought me in a different way, dick nuts. Jesus. So here's my thought on this. It's okay, fine. I guess it's just one of those instances of you can't trust the dirt sheets. We don't know what's going on in their personal life. And, hey, whatever they're doing, they're doing. I see you put a what if in here, and I'm curious. I'm probably going to laugh my ass off because I have a funny feeling I know what you're going at.
What if? Man, what if I don't think has he been released from AEW yet?
I think he's one of the ones that got taken off the page, yes. I think he is done.
You could come back with the actual Rusev and Lana storyline and pick it right up where it left off. Like, in the good ways. Not the Bobby Lashley who was banging her out. But it would go over. He would be over, and so they would be over as soon as they came in. They could put the fake accents back on and everything, and no one would give a fuck.
Oh, my God, that'd be hilarious.
I'd be fine with it. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny because, you know, from what I had read, you know, he obviously, you had Ziggler, Lana, none of them wanted to do that fucking storyline that was going on. Yet everybody was involved in it in some ways. Lashley, Liv Morgan. And it's like, Vince probably broke them up for a while. Fuck, he definitely broke up Mero and Sable.
Yeah, well, that was a long time coming, I feel like.
Was it?
Probably.
I don't know, man. I mean, he was like, we'll let you show your tits, and he won't even be on TV anymore. Okay.
Dude, based on the stories you hear about her, it sounds like that would be a very plausible reaction from her.
Well, you know, we have some good, we have some bad. Man, did you hear or read about Vince Steele, 39-year-old indie wrestler, died in the ring of a cardiac arrest?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't end up reading the story, but I definitely saw the headline.
Kind of, in a weird way, I'm kind of surprised it doesn't happen a little more. You know, like just
especially on the indies.
Yeah,
you know?
I was gonna say they don't go through as well the testing as WWE. Like, you have to make sure that you're able to, you know, like, think about us as adults. We have to, as, you know, older guys, we do the stress test. They got to do those on, you know, a weekly, monthly basis to make sure they're probably okay to get in the ring, because it's on WWE's ass if they die in the ring on Raw.
Well, and it's also that I'll say most of the roster are in good shape. They're on, you know, they eat well, they train a lot. You know, so their bodies are accustomed to it. When you start talking about the indies, you see a picture of this guy?
Yeah.
You get a lot of Tiger Queens, man. Because if you're a big guy, then you're a big guy and you can do power moves. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm not trying to sound crass or anything, but I honestly don't. I'm surprised we don't see this more.
You're right. You just reminded me of Tiger Queen when he was like, guys, I think with this fantasy wrestling league. We should make it like a reality TV show. We should do videos. Yo, you can't post numbers weekly without fucking it up, or your website sucks, and you want to do weekly videos.
I did the best video. I did the best video promo in the history of that fucking league.
Which one?
I took his little. He had that little news show. Remember they would do the news show, and they had that intro with like the eagle.
Oh, that's
dressed like
right.
Macho Man. And I stole it, but then I put like music over it and fucking cut a promo.
I had a good couple of videos too. It was fun.
You did. You did the Fiend style one.
Yep. Where it was like I had my face kind of hidden. My favorite one was when I created a paper championship, being like, you can keep that Kelly championship because you're going to take it from us anyway. It was a paper championship, and it's still more important. God, that was fun. All right, speaking of fun shit, Typhoon, Fred Otterman had actually confirmed last week in an interview the natural disasters are headed into the Hall of Fame. I'm surprised WWE hasn't announced it yet either, but it's funny that Lex Luger, if you watch that video with Cody, he told him like a month before they even announced it on TV. So they're just sprinkling it in when they want to.
Interesting. Wonder why they would do that.
Because if you that video with Cody saying it to Lex was, they announced and showed it like the weekend when Cody was in Toronto for Elimination Chamber. But then if you watch the date on it above it was like February 2nd or something like that.
Oh shit.
So,
okay.
But that's cool. Nikki Bella, don't get your hopes up. John Tento won't be there.
He's a dead man.
Did you see the exchange on Twitter or X, whatever the fuck, with CM Punk and Dominic Mysterio?
Yeah.
I loved it. He just took a picture of Punk took a picture of Dominic when he was that little bleach blonde boy and just wrote little bitch over his face or whatever. And then Dom did the same thing with a picture of Punk and just wrote wash up old fuck. I was like, I'm telling you, this is actually the feud I need. And if they go that direction post WrestleMania, I'm absolutely fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be a long feud, but the heat you get between the two of them would be great.
A month, just 2-3 weeks of promos and Dom fucking him over or dumb shit, whatever, and then they have a match and it's the payoff. A little feud, that's enough for me. But speaking of Dom, if you go to their website, he is no longer Dirty Dominic Mysterio, and frickin' is gone from Seth Rollins. Oh, but they did say it on Raw, didn't they?
They said it on Raw.
I wonder if it was, but it's also like we've been saying it for 3 years.
He whipped Joe Louis' ass. Yeah, I don't know, and that's the thing. It could be the ring announcer just fucked up.
Well, I hated that fucking name. I still do every time.
I still do. Yep.
Did you happen to see the picture of Sami Zayn and Kieran Culkin and their wives were out to dinner or something together?
I did not see that.
Have you ever watched the show, and it was from HBO, Succession?
It's an Apple TV one, I believe.
I mean, the HBO logo comes up at the beginning, goes,
really? Yeah. Succession. What's the one I'm thinking of then?
Oh, you're thinking of Severity or whatever that new one is, or some shit, the one that has Adam Scott.
I don't know who Adam Scott is.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, that's what you're thinking.
All right.
That's the new Apple one. But no, Succession is with Brian Cox. Kieran Culkin is in it. Also, I don't know his name in real life, but the guy who played Cameron in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, okay.
And it's about a whole family who own an entertainment company, like kind of like Time Warner Cable, if you will, and Succession, who's going to be the one to take over. And Kieran is the fucking comic relief of this show. He's great. He's hysterical. A lot of drugs. Anyway.
Yeah, he just won an award for it too.
He won a major reward. No, actually, he won an Oscar for the movie with Jesse Eisenberg, A Real Pain, which we watched. That was a good one. And I like that you're throwing things in the chat. This is a podcast. You could say things out loud. What'd you find out, buddy?
I don't want to interrupt you. I put it down before, so I don't want to interrupt you. Some of us don't
Yeah,
interrupt
I'll
people.
interrupt you as you tell me what the name of this is. Severance.
What?
Severance is the name of the one we were talking about. But anyway, so yeah.
Severance is what we were looking for.
Kieran Culkin out with Sami Zayn. Macaulay Culkin was on Raw a couple weeks ago. I just like the Culkins are really into wrestling, and they're always, they're not shy about it. Because, like, you say it to some famous people, they're like, oh, you watch that? Fuck you. Best thing I ever heard. When I remember where I was like 21, right? I was like 21, 22, just really starting to get out there and hang out. And I was at Dinosaur Barbecue, and Brother Marty was there, and I go, hey, man. And I go, are you going to be watching WrestleMania this weekend? Because you don't need to whisper. I'm a man, and I like wrestling. I'm an adult, and I fucking love it. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. That's how you got to act. So I dug that, and that's kind of where I took it. But the Culkins are that way. And I got to give a shout out to Lil Jon. There's a new thing that has come out that said AEW is considering combining the international and the continental championships. And he was like, so the intercontinental? And like I'm saying, he said this like 6 months ago too. I remember him saying, because I think I said, I was like, they should just combine these.
I think I remember that.
And he said it, and I was like, yeah, that's true. And it's funny because it is 1,000,000,000% the way they're going with it. Again, All In is Okada and Omega. They both have the titles. Done.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I can't wait to get to AEW in a couple of minutes. The amount of tournaments are just killing me right now. But can you believe something that came up the other day was the first SmackDown that happened right after when COVID hit and everything shut down. Man, it's crazy to go back and watch some of that stuff. If you have the ability to just look anything up or whatever it is, the silence in the arenas or the performance center, and then how they just it killed me with the Thunderdome. Because, and why I say that is WWE just released 4 hours the Bloodline story on YouTube, and all this began in the goddamn Thunderdome. Little do we remember. I mean, that's when that actually happened. And it's so bad when you're hearing like the piped in sounds when Roman Reigns came back with his teeth at that SummerSlam.
Oh, God, yep.
Fucking The Fiend. He got fucked over again. But
let's not forget, who was it? The Miz and somebody else with zombies.
That's right. And that was the only time Miz ever injured his body.
Injured himself.
He's been concussed, and that was it. But the only time he's ever been injured was in that stupid fucking zombie match. But man, it's just crazy to look back at the COVID era, because I was like, our shows back then probably couldn't have reached any more than an hour and a half each week, because we had no content. We're just like, yeah, this is what happened. I mean, there was some stuff going, like at Dynamite. Everything was a stretch during that era.
It was, minus the fact that back then is when we first started, and all of our lists, or I'll give you the credit here. Yeah. Most of your lists were top 50, top off, 100.
Dude. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
It took me 3 hours to get through the top 50 black wrestlers. At one point, you got up and walked away.
Really?
I remember you just got up and left. I'm just sitting here rattling off these names.
Things like that happen, though, man. Where, like, let's say the dog was, like, yelling at the Amazon Prime guy. I'm like, all right, you keep it going. I got to go. It's not like I was like, all right, I don't give a fuck about 30 through 20. And one last thing I got to throw out there. It's not necessarily news, but last night I'm watching Raw, and it was nice because, obviously, it was in Belgium. So you have a time zone difference. But Wheezy sends a video over of Mrs. Wheezy yeeting with one hand, but close enough, yeeting while Raw was on in the background while wearing her Buffalo Sabres yeet shirt. And I go, all right, man. I go, she actually is now fucking officially cooler than you. That's awesome.
Didn't take much.
Not much, but that's cool. Glad that they got that shirt. It's funny because I got the 2K game. Oh, we'll get into that in a couple minutes, but I didn't realize how much I really liked Jacob Fatu's song. I'm like, God damn, it's a banger. And I know that he wanted a shirt. He's everything. Fatu. And it's funny because I'm like, it sounds like Hawk 2. So on Friday night, TNA Sacrifice. I'm only going to talk about just a couple of quick matches here. Nothing major to go through, but all right, the guy that's there, written in red, I want you to say his name first. Say it.
Mustafa Ali.
Right. And I forget that he named him, or just, I'm not sure if his real pronunciation is this, or it's just how they did it as a character change, but he's Mustafa Ali.
I have heard that before, yeah.
I know, but it threw me off every time they kept saying it. Like, Mustafa. I'm like, it's Mustafa. Come on. But he had a match against Mike Santana and cheated to win, holding the ropes. And a couple of things from this. Ali's jaw was dislocated during the middle of this match.
Ooh.
And motherfucker popped it back in place and went about the day. Good for him. It's kind of like, when we see Riggs, right, popping his shoulder back in place. I think Finn Balor popped his own shoulder back in place after he dislocated against Rollins. I'm like, I wouldn't know what to do. I'd probably make it worse.
You'd probably make it worse, yeah.
Yeah. But the funniest thing is, so later in the night, backstage, all right, you know how you have your backstage segments and someone is, arguing with the GM and then they go back to the arena. Well, normally it seems pretty fucking live. Not for TNA and Anthem. Anthem is the company that owns them. Mike Santana gets in Santino Marella's face, and he's like, I can't believe you let this happen. He goes, oh, I seen that son of man again. I seen him what he did, which is, I love watching Santino. But he goes, and I want to match him. He goes, okay, you're going to get it this coming Thursday on Impact. You'll have it. Okay. And Mike Santana turns around and walks. Now you have one fucking option. He turns around and there is a double set of doors, like we always see, right? The backstage area, double set of doors that you can go through that looks like it could go to outside or the next hallway. And they either didn't cut away in time or they just didn't kill the cue in time, because Santana goes to the corner and he stands there for a second like, are we done taping? And then it freezes, like they hit pause in the back, and we're like, okay, let's get back to the other live action. I'm like, oh my God, so it wasn't even live. Like, it actually paused for a second where he was stuck in that corner. After that, I was like, okay, well, the good things TNA do and some of the bad things TNA does.
Yeah.
I'll combine this. Last week on NXT, TNA invaded, and I texted you. I said, wow, it was a really good show. The Hardys defeated Fraxium. Moose defeated, Obafemi defeated Moose. And then Giulia dropped her North American Championship to Stephanie Vacure. She is the winner of both championships now.
Julia was the world champ, women's champ.
Correct. I apologize. It was the other way around. Julia's injured from everything. I mean, I already covered that a couple weeks ago here. But so Moose had a ladder match for his X Division championship with Jeff Hardy. Not everybody should be in a ladder match. They did a cool stat. It said this was Jeff Hardy's 37th ladder match of some form.
Jesus.
And this was Moose's first. And there was a part where, you know how they like to have the ladder set up and then they take another ladder and use it as like a catwalk or, you know what I mean? Like kind of like a walkway.
Yep.
And you connect it to the ring post. Well, when Moose powerbombed Hardy on it, one of the ladder rungs just fucking broke right off on the one that it was holding. So it went down lower. But they still had to do this next upcoming spot soon. So they repositioned the ladder, but now it's curved. Why they did not turn the ladder around that has the other ring on that side is still beyond me. But they decided to go with it. Hardy gets up there, and he's trying to dangle to get the championship. Moose gets on there. So we're talking like the scaffolding part of it, right? He can't take his hands off the fucking ladder. He's standing, but he can't take his hands off the ladder because he's like, this is unstable. You could see the thing was rocking and rocking. He could not stand up because he was like, if I do, we're falling. And he does, and Hardy like holds on to him. and does a quick twist of fate off the ladder where he didn't need to jump. All they needed to do was just like a little move.
Yeah.
Everything just collapsed below them. That's all they had to do. And that's exactly what happened. And they fell. And I was like, oh my God. It was rough. Not the best ladder match I've seen. But then the main event was a 10-man tag cage match. And it didn't go around the ring. It was a regular cage. 5 versus 5.
Jeez.
Yes, Jesus, right. And the faces, which were Elijah Joe Hendry, Leon Slater, Matt Hardy, and Nick Nemeth, they defeated the Clones and the System. First, I wasn't really familiar with Leon Slater. He's 20 years old. By 7 or 8 days, he beat Amazing Red's record of being the youngest person to ever have a pay-per-view match in TNA history. He's 20, and he won in the main event match of it. So it was kind of cool. Elijah came out on a horse because they were in El Paso. They could not get his mic properly working. So every time he said, if you want to walk with Elijah, his mic was cutting out. He was trying to play his song. He's not as good on the guitar. I think Joe Hendry is much better. That watching Elijah play, it's like, I'm not a great guitar player, man. It's like me trying to do solos. It's bad. And I was like, just stop playing. Yeah, but speaking of this pay-per-view, though, all of our recent injury news is all from that exact pay-per-view. Listen to this one.
Yeah, I saw this.
So, yeah, I already told you about Mustafa, dislocated jaw, pops him back in place. Matt Hardy has a deviated septum. Some people get that from coke. He did it from wrestling. Moose apparently has a hip issue. I'm not shocked. Jeff Hardy is having issues with his lower body. Fine. Alicia Edwards has a concussion, and she is the valet of Moose. And she got involved a little bit, so she got hurt being a fucking valet. Santana hurt his left hand in the match against Ali. And then Li Ying Li has a perforated eardrum.
Travis Scott slapper?
Dude, it's funny because I saw someone say the other day that for the celebrities that are going to be in the DLC pack, someone's like, please let it be Travis Scott. And someone's like, please let his finishing move be a slap to your head while you're laying face down. I go, that kind of
better be.
Funny. I think that's hysterical. We knew that Swerve extended his contract not too long ago, bought a house. They all thought that was like the big thing, and then Adam Page burned it down. But Swerve just extended his AEW contract to 2029. That's fine. Look, you're shining in that place, so go ahead and do it.
And he's making the rounds, man. He's been putting out a lot of statements, just putting AEW over. Basically, Sasha or Mercedes Moné is bigger now that she's in AEW. And then the part that was really out of pocket was saying that Cody and Punk are both successful as they are in WWE because of AEW.
Okay, now
now you're pushing it.
Now you are using the same dealer as Tony. That's a bit much. It's like FTR. I love them. They're a great tag team. But they're like, AEW is the very best place to be. And I'm like, oh, God, I lost it on you guys, man.
They're definitely just, playing the corporate game. So...
and man, your boy, Jeff Cobb, he reportedly is signed with WWE. He's on the internal roster, which I think would be pretty big.
It's weird because I saw that, and then I saw something. Did you see that Cobb tweeted? He said,
no.
Geez, guys. Yeah. He said, geez, guys, relax. I just woke up and holy hell, look at all these notifications. I guess I have some explaining to do. Well, let me calm everyone's nerves. The rumors are, in fact, 100% true. I will be eliminating Naito from the New Japan Cup live today.
Well, that's what I said, too, because I was like, wait, he's in the Cup. And that Cup has been going on, and we covered it last week how the ring was broken and they had to push it. But I don't care. Either way, people are pretty good at doing kayfabe, and I'm going to go ahead and say he's kayfabe, pal. He's going to be in WWE at some point. I'd love to see him show up like right after WrestleMania and just wreck everyone.
Well, the theory is that we're going to see Phoenix soon, but Aleister Black, I'm guessing it'll be Aleister Black when he comes back. Right now the rumor is after Mania, so maybe the Raw after Mania.
Man.
So you could do Cobb then as well.
Put Jeff Cobb with Bronson Reed. That's a tag team for you.
That'd be a fucking crazy tag team.
So we did have, I do got to talk a couple of things about Dynamite. So there's a new tournament. Last week I told you that Konosuke Takeshita dropped his championship to Kenny Omega after having like a good 4 to 6 month reign, I think, with it. No rematch. Tony Khan likes his tournament so much that he started a new tournament, and it's an 8-man tournament, and the winner will face Kenny Omega at Dynasty, which was a good show in the 80s, but but the funny thing is that Takeshita is not even in the fucking tournament. He had nothing to do with it at all. But they did have a mystery person who was debuting that night. Speedball Mike Bailey. It was a given. When you looked at everybody who was in the thing, it was all luchadors and Orange Cassidy. I was like, and Mark Briscoe. But I'm calling it now. Mike Bailey and Ricochet will be your finals. Who faces Omega? I don't know. Knowing them, they'll probably make it a triple threat so we can have as many flips as possible in one match. Or we get Omega in Speedball, which could be a pretty decent match. I don't necessarily care to see Omega and Ricochet, so I think this would be better anyway. But yeah, and all of a sudden Max Caster is a total, he's the wrestling god or the Mr. Wrestling or whatever the fuck he calls himself now. That's who Konosuke started feuding with on Wednesday instead of going back for his championship.
Great. That's awesome. That'll last probably 3 weeks.
Solid storylines. And speaking of a tournament, while they're literally in the middle of one tournament, Will Ospreay goes, "Bruv, I'm going to be in the Owen Hart Cup tournament." What the fuck? That doesn't even start for another couple months.
Hooray.
Did you see a picture of Kenny Omega with his championship on Dynamite?
I did not.
Motherfucker could not be bothered to wear proper clothes. He looks like he looked like he was going to gym class. It was a cut-off shirt with like no logo on it and the most comfiest pair of like shorts I've ever seen. Like, you know, not jean shorts. Just some sweat shorts.
All right.
And a pair of sneakers. And I was like, and there's your champion, folks. Like, not even a Kenny Omega shirt, nothing like fancy. Just, he literally looked like he couldn't even be bothered to get dressed for this fucking segment.
I mean, you know, he seems like the kind of guy that wouldn't openly shit talk the company, but at the same time just half-ass it. Or maybe he literally just got out of the gym. He's like, "Oh fuck, I've got a segment tonight."
Oh shit, I'm supposed to be at that wrestling company that I'm an EVP for. MVP offered MJF a spot in the Hurt Syndicate. Immediately, the first thing I thought was, oh, it's Owen Hart in the Nation of Domination.
So who's going to be DX in this scenario?
Oh. Either way, the whole thing is just, it'll probably be the Outrunners because they've been feuding with them. The whole thing is just ridiculous. I can't follow Dynamite, man. The only thing that's worth watching at all, Tony Storm.
Yeah.
And what was sticky on my back appeared to be chewing tobacco. That's what you get when I do commercials.
Yeah.
SmackDown on Friday. Love a good Barcelona crowd. It's funny. Someone put up a post between that and Raw. How about WWE just does everything in Europe from now on? Fuck it. Don't come back to the States. We don't have as good a crowd.
But then you'll lose it. Then the crowd isn't going to be as hot because they're there all the time. You know, that's why it's
Fair.
special.
I don't know, man. Watch any soccer event. They're all that fucking jacked up.
But
man.
it's soccer.
Well, especially
you obviously got to be touched in the fucking head to watch soccer purposely.
You use your head to hit the ball.
Mm-hmm. Will you teach me to soccer?
Did you watch SmackDown?
No, I did not catch SmackDown. I saw the highlights from the end, the main event match.
Great segment backstage. I like a good comedy bit. And look at, if Nakamura's leaving, fine. If he's staying, fine. He goes to Nick Aldis, and Aldis like, I don't know what you want. And he goes, I want a rematch. And he starts speaking straight up Japanese as Damian Priest walks up. And Priest goes, yeah, I didn't understand a word you just said. So let me say something here that maybe you could understand, but everybody here in Barcelona can understand. And he just speaks straight Spanish. And I go, oh, my fucking God. I'm like, and Nick Aldis goes, I don't know what either of you said, but how about you guys go have a match tonight?
It works.
I mean, it was almost as good as man, I got to learn to speak Chinese. That'd be cool. I don't care. I still think that was funny. That's more of a joke. I don't think that it was a racist thing. I think that was funny.
100%. No. If anything, it was rapey.
Yeah. And which I normally like. But so Priest and Nakamura have a match. And what I liked about Barcelona, man, they had that long entranceway like when they did Backlash, right? It's that one long curved one. And I think Saturday night's main event was that way for one of them.
They had it for Rumble, too.
For Rumble, thank you. That was the other one. And Drew took out Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre took out Damian Priest. And after he did it, he was starting to get back up. Priest was starting to rally to get himself up as Drew looked back like, motherfucker, didn't I just put you down? Runs back in and gives him another Claymore, and the crowd popped hard. It's what I love about the overseas shows is bad guys are good guys are bad guys, and they just chant whatever they want.
Yep.
So Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman, they got face-to-face again, and Fatu had a good promo in the back where he goes, and next week we're running it back one more time, me, you, and then Solo and Tama just get right in the camera at the same time. All three of them go, Fatu! I was like, God damn, Solo's the main mouthpiece, right? But Jacob's way more over.
Oh, 100%. There's not even a question. Yeah,
I guess it's kind of like Batista was over in Evolution, and you just kind of have to let it be for now.
Right.
I'm sure you've seen the video of Solo coming extremely close to dropping an F-bomb.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he went to say, why don't you guys, he went to say, do me a favor. Or do a solid, one or the other. And he's like, do me a like that. But it's funny, Jimmy's look on his face like, ooh, you almost said it. It's funny because they're just brothers, and, just fucking with each other there at this point. It's funny how big Barcelona looked, but then when you see that one part of Jimmy in the ring, it looked like they were in a gymnasium with the wooden wall that was behind them. I was like, wow, what kind of dump are they in tonight? And then you back up, you're like, oh, it's a big arena.
Yeah, well, it's funny, for the Brussels one, Brussels was Raw, when all the backstage segments, all the walls are all graffiti.
Yep.
It was pretty fucking cool.
That I liked. I thought it was cool. And speaking of Raw, Rhea Ripley pulled Shawn Michaels from 2004.
I loved it.
It's exactly what happened with Triple H and Benoit. Benoit was supposed to sign it. Bam, super kick to Benoit. HBK signs the contract. I'm like, here we go. That's how a triple
Who was it? Who's the one in American Made? Who the fuck? What's her
Briggs?
name?
Oh, Ivy Nile.
Ivy Nile. Ivy Nile and one of the other women tweeted after that. She's like, wait, word? We can just sign a contract and we're in?
Penta stepped up to Braun Breaker. I say ladder match. It's probably going to be a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. Or maybe don't do it. Maybe it's like a 6-man elimination match or a gauntlet. Something. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be a ladder. It probably will because it's always the easiest and makes the most sense. But, I mean, there's a lot of guys who are possibly going after this title.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's one of the, the speculations leading into Mania, that it was going to be some kind of 6-man. You could probably do like a 6-man ladder match.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past them. You get a bunch of people in there, they can all get some, TV time or pay-per-view time, play time.
Well, they're also pushing something with Dom and Baylor. You can already see cracks there again. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
So it's, who knows where that's going to go too. But I got to be honest, man, I ain't been right because John Cena broke up with me. And that was the longest fucking Raw opening segment ever.
Yeah, I got some thoughts about this one. I was
Take
very
it.
conflicted watching it. I was very conflicted. I was disappointed when I heard his music, but then when he cut the promo, I got it. He's like, "Oh, you guys want new music? You want a new look? Well, guess what? You're not getting it.
Mm-hmm. He goes,
You get nothing. Good day, sir."
see, that's,
But-
it's funny you say that. I took it as the other way when he goes, what do we get? What do we get? What do we get? He goes, you get nothing. I go, you will get nothing and like it.
Nothing and like it.
I want a
I
hot dog.
want a hot dog. And but again, I was very conflicted because, at parts I was digging what he was saying. And then at other parts, I'm like, man, you just a bitch.
Well, in
But
what
I
ways?
think it works. It works. Just the whining.
Yeah, that's a heel.
Exactly. But I was still very conflicted with how it all fit together. Because at times it seemed like, yeah, you're just being a whiny bitch about it, so you're going to fucking cheat to get what you want. All right, that sounds like a heel to me. But then sometimes it was like, wow, the people that always hated you can now hate you even more because you acting like a little bitch. So, I mean, ultimately, I think it worked out pretty well. I think it's the right direction for him without him having to go too over the top with it. I did see somebody on some troll on the interwebs saying that Ricochet's heel work is 100 times better than Cena's.
Talking about the guy that's using the nose hair trimmers to fucking kill someone? Not lying, by the way. See, but I'm okay with everything, like the whole, I gave, and, no one ever asked me how I felt. I like that rather than, I've always hated all you people, and blah, 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 and it would have been too fake.
Sure.
I loved this. However, is he scheduled for the next Raw again? Or was this his only one for a bit?
Don't know. I did not see that specified.
They were zooming in, man, on kids. I was like, they wanted to see some kids cry.
Oh my God. There was one part where he goes, and you, little kid, you're responsible too. And they cut to him, and this kid has a look on his face like, what did I do?
His fault.
It was fucking priceless. It was priceless. I have to find that meme. It was so fun. I forget what he said, but he pointed right at the kid. He's like, and you too, little
He
kid.
was wearing the red
And they
hat,
cut to
red
him.
shirt, all brand new shit from that,
He's like-
that show. It even said Brussels on it.
I didn't do anything. It does, yeah.
Oh, my God. It's funny because I can't hear...
shit.
You've seen, and I've asked you if you've ever watched the show Newsroom, and you said you've watched that one clip, the What's Wrong with America, Why We're Not Number One, the Jeff Daniels thing.
Yes.
When he starts listing countries that are also free or have freedom, and he's like, blah, 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 and he goes, Belgium, for Christ's sake. So every time they kept saying, we're going to be in Belgium, I'm like, Belgium! I don't know why. But I like the hype of it being European shows just because heading into WrestleMania, the crowds are hot. It's going to be awesome. It kind of gets you pumped for WrestleMania as it is, which is a good thing. I can't believe Punk wasn't there.
So there's a couple weird things. One, somebody snapped a picture of him. It looks like he shaved his beard
I
off.
saw that, but I don't know how real it is. I got to go shave my beard.
Yeah,
I'll be
there
back.
is that. Weird thing, right before the European tours, they pulled him. WWE pulled him. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm reading the tea leaves, and I have not seen this reported anywhere. I'm wondering if The Rock didn't care for his promo, for Punk's promo on Raw. And it was like, okay, asshole, guess what? You're not going to Europe. Now, on the flip side, it could have just been Punk was like, hey, man, my mom's this sick. I got to take care of her. All right, man, stay here. You know what I mean? Who the fuck knows? I haven't seen it reported either way, but it sounds like he was officially pulled from those events.
Huh. You already know my fucking thoughts on Dwayne for fucking Punk over a couple of WrestleManias in a row. The one that killed me the most is that instead of giving him The Undertaker, they could have very well made it a triple threat with Cena and Rock and called it a day. I don't even care if Cena won in 4 seconds. It was the right thing to do after the man held the title for that many fucking days. So I wouldn't be shocked if Dwayne did this again. They probably don't like each other. Fuck them. Hey, Buster did some work, man. And this is what we pay him for.
About time.
It's good to know. I actually didn't even realize, man. Simon Gotch actually became a really good comedian. I didn't realize that's who that was. He changed his name to Andrew Schultz now. Looks a lot like him. No, but what it was that he actually got me with was last week I was like in Wardlow. I'm like with Sean Spears. I'm like he was the keep him in check guy or something like that, and I couldn't figure out what it was. It was the accountability buddy or some shit like that. And I go that was it.
Right.
And I go good call. He goes, that's what you guys pay me for. I'm like nice, good call.
You get what you pay
it.
for.
All right, man. Let's go to the table.
Just bring it, bitch! Oh my God!
So I think I told you it may have been a part of Hidden Track or not really sure. But the wife went away.
Yeah.
And, we had the taser, all that fun shit. But also, I wasn't going to be able to go get my 2K game because, we don't have fucking Lyft drivers around here or anything where I'm at in California. However, I found out there was a taxi company. So I called the guy on Friday morning, and I was like, just curious. From where I'm at right now, at this place, could you bring me to GameStop and then back? What would that cost me round trip? And he goes, $35. And I go, even though it's like, half the price of the game, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, I got nothing else going on for the entire weekend. I'm here with no vehicle or anything. So I ended up getting the 2K game. It's funny how it takes 4 fucking hours to, download all of everything in the update. And I was like, I'm going to take a nap. The music's good. You got a new, one of the new songs from Eminem's newest album is on there. When I'm saying the music, I'm talking like the extra tracks that are on there. A couple years ago, they did one that I actually liked was Heavy is the Head That Wears the Crown, which was Zach Brown and Chris Cornell. If he is the head that wears a crown. It was a good jam. I like a good jam on the 2K games.
All right.
This one has some pretty good ones. Gameplay, pretty smooth, nice and fun. I was getting into the showcase mode, which is all about the fucking bloodline. And it is funny, everybody bitching online. Like, it's a pretty far fucking stretch that we're trying to get Tamina Snuka as a part of this bloodline showcase. But like, we could have done another match.
Yeah,
didn't need her. Like, it's okay. I got the head shrinkers. It was like the second match was defeating Steiner Brothers, and you get the head shrinkers. I was like, I'm already happy. But the other mode is called the My Rise mode, where you get like 7 options of who a character looks like, and you can adjust it from there, but they give you like quick templates. You can either adjust it or run with it as is and then do a whole career. But you have all these different options. You'll get 3 options. Do you want to say this, this, or this? And it could change the direction of what you're going to be doing, which is awesome. By the way, I think I said this before, that open world, that the island, only on PS5. You can't get it on PS4. All right. I'll take my wins and losses. But the My Rise mode, the men's one, within the first week, there is a mutiny takeover with like people of NXT and people who used to be in NXT. I'm not even going to give any more than that because it's just, I was like, fuck, they always have really good storylines in the games that they don't do in real life. One of my favorite ever was, I think it was Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and William Regal, the United Kingdoms. I'm like, why would you not make that a real thing? That's a great stable. But as a part of the MyRise thing, this is just one little spoiler, they have a thing called the NXT Unity Tag Titles, which is basically mixed tag. Now, I know, ODM, titles are worthless. Titles are meaningless. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But for your people who don't have a whole lot going on and they could get into some mixed tag intergender type matches, I'm just saying I wouldn't be against it to see if they did something like this one day soon. And I wonder if putting it in the game is them testing it out, having Unity championships and see if people are for it or against it.
Well, you're drinking me to drive with that suggestion. Please don't.
Hey, man, I've done that. You can't get into Canada. What are you bringing to the table this week?
Flip that. Reverse it. I'm going to pull a U. I'm going to talk about a couple things. One, it's just about this episode in particular. You know, we talked about our top topic is the league, right? The TV show. I have won my fantasy football league. I sent you the picture of me with the title when I won it. Obviously won the fantasy
I was
wrestling.
a back-to-back winner.
And we're in... there you go. So was I. I have, I'm in fantasy hockey right now. Playoffs start next week, I believe. So right now I'm in the throes of gunning for my Triple Crown fantasy title.
Holy
This will
shit. be
my third different type of fantasy.
That's kind of a big thing, a Triple Crown of fantasy.
It is so pathetic, but I'm still so engaged by it. I'm like, this is a big. I might go buy my own title for that.
You don't have 3 giant trophy cases filled with championships that you've never earned. At least these are earnings. You've earned these wins. You don't just go to WWE Shop and go, here's another $400 for the Divas Championship. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Take my money now. The other, it was the last season. I think it was season 5 of Dark Side of the Ring. I haven't watched the whole thing. I think I've only watched a couple episodes. That was the earthquake one, which was more sad than anything. It wasn't a dark. There was nothing dark about it.
Which is what I said about the upcoming season. I'm like, how dark can you really get about some of these people? But I'm like, I don't know their past. But yeah, John Tenta was very just it was a sad version. But yeah.
He was a good dude. And then he died.
But then you got the dark side of what Jake Roberts went through.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, his father being, a fucking toucher.
That's what I'm saying.
But anyway, I watched the Brutus the Barber Beefcake one, and this one was just fucking hilarious. First of all,
God.
his wife is a rat. His wife is a rat.
Wait, not just a rat. Not like a
ring rat.
She's a ring rat. Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh my God. Didn't
and
she fuck Marty
like,
Jannetty?
Probably, and she looks like an aged ring rat. She looks fucking terrible. They both are creeping with melanoma. They definitely talked about the accident, where his face basically got ripped off, but dude, this episode was weird because Brutus was talking about how over he got in WCW because he had 5 different gimmicks and he was able to get over with all of them.
Nope.
No?
I think you're getting some of that rewriting history from your buddy Terry.
Yeah. Well, and then they had the disciple thing, and like he was supposed to take off with that, and then mysteriously off TV. But the best part was all the talking, and then they talked about, man, Hulkster, still love you, you're still my buddy, and all the talking heads were all Hogan's cronies.
Oh yeah, one of them was Knobs, wasn't it?
Knobs, B. Brian Blair,
Jimmy Hart.
So it's like he basically got ghosted by Hulk Hogan, and all Hogan's buddies are like, well, you did something. And they never got into like what that was. Yeah.
Oh, no. Hogan fucked Brutus's wife.
Probably.
And Bubba the Love Sponge watched or something like that. I can't remember.
Yes,
how
I think you're right. Yes. Or they talked about it on Bubba Love Sponge.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I think he was cucking in the room. I will say that it took me easily when I was at that age, man. So we're talking 1996, 7 when the Disciple came there. So I was 12, 13-ish. It took me a couple of months, maybe more. And it might have been like someone at school going, "You know that's Brutus, right?" Like, no, this guy's way too ripped. Because he looked good, right? He had the hair, the beard, jacked as fuck. I'm like, that's not Brutus.
Didn't look like him at all.
Until the glasses came off, you're like, Ed Leslie, motherfucker, that is
there
him.
It is.
It's the booty man, the guy with no name. It's the
booty
Zodiac,
man,
everything.
the
that
Zodiac.
Oh my God, Jesus. Yeah, he had 5. Everybody liked me so much because I had so many gimmicks. Yeah, that's a comic Dark Side of the Ring episode. That's a funny one. It's funny that you mentioned ring rats. Isn't it funny that Charlotte Flair now looks like a ring rat? Like, she looks like Alundra Blaze looks now. Alundra Blaze looks 180 right now from everything that she's done to her face, and Charlotte's right behind her. I watched Charlotte this past Friday on SmackDown. For some reason, it's become a very new thing that you grab your opponent's head with your legs and slam it down to the ground like you're fucking their head, which apparently Booker T jizzes in his pants about.
Oh, he loves.
That video of him going, smacking in the air. I was like, yo, this dude, he's not even hiding it. He's like, no, spit in her hand. But Charlotte was doing it, and then she lifted her head up and put her tongue out like, ha ha. And I go, oh, it's the Crypt Keeper, man. It's so bad.
Eat a sandwich. You ever see The Boys? Do you watch The Boys on Amazon?
No.
All right. Anyway, there's one of the main characters is a chick. I forget her name. I forget the actress's name. I think they've done 4 seasons, and over the course of that 4 seasons, she's pulling a Charlotte Flair. She's getting more and more plastic surgery. Not part of the show, just the person.
No, yeah, I know.
And the progression when you look at her, it is terrifying because she was cute, man. She was good looking, and now she's just fucking like fucking Crypt Keeper.
I said the same thing about Sweet D from It's Always Sunny. She was perfectly fine for years and years and years. And then, for 2 or 3 seasons, she looked like shit because of the work that she did. Now it's starting to deflate a bit, and she's coming down. But I'm not a fan of that stuff, man. All natural, baby.
Nah.
Swing low, sweet chariot. Let them
Sweet
all.
chariots.
On that note, let's go to the wars.
Monday Night Wars!
And you're right. There will be no return triple threat match. But doesn't that kind of beg the question as to what the main event at WrestleMania is going to be?
Right, absolute what?
Clearly, you should be there. Big Show, The Rock.
What?
But I think a special ingredient needs to be added.
Wait a minute.
Some deserving individual whose dream should come true.
What? No!
If for one night only. Therefore, Triple H, this McMahon tonight is making the final decision. And now, the main event at WrestleMania will be a fatal 4-way elimination match.
What? 4-way? 4-way?
In which you, Triple H, will defend the World Wrestling Federation Championship against Big Show, against The Rock, and against this man, Mick Foley.
You'll be a dentist. This is why we shouldn't take a break before the wars. It is the Monday Night Wars. And it's WCW Uncensored is what's going to kick it off. And I don't know how uncensored they actually get.
I will tell you this. This week in the Monday Night Wars is the biggest example of the Russo era in WCW gonna WCW.
Take it away.
This is TK levels of bad.
Oh, yeah. I wonder what Vince
March
Russo's choice of drug was.
His own fucking self-arrogance and
it's funny.
Overconfidence.
Let me ask you. WWE was in Madison Square Garden last week. What did you think of the show at Raw? Because Russo said it was absolutely one of the worst shows he's ever seen in the MSG arena. I'm like, I don't know, man. You had the cage match, you had the Chad Gable thing, you had stuff. I don't know. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I thought it was solid. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it was the best Raw in
sure,
recent memory,
yeah.
but it was solid. The main event was good.
It's Russo. So let's see what he produced back
Russo.
25 years ago.
Ugh. Do we really have to? So March 19th is Uncensored 2000. It's in Miami. This is the last Uncensored, and for some reason, when you look it up on the cock, Brett's on the thumbnail.
Not even in the pay-per-view.
Not even anywhere close to the fucking building, probably.
It is funny, though,
we open
that
up with
it's the last Uncensored. You could say that for every one of these pay-per-views moving forward, by the way.
Moving forward, yes, at this point. But there's some that we've done, because there was another one earlier in 2000 that it's the last one, but there's others that happen
Well,
again,
you
so.
know what I'm saying. Like Bash at the Beach, definitely
I got you. Yeah, we're past it. Yeah, oh, dude, we are,
can't wait.
what? We're almost there,
shit.
dude.
I'm going to be home around that time. We may be doing a live watch-along for that
a little
one.
watch along?
Yeah.
All right. We'll split up the editing.
Man. Nice.
Opens up with the artist formerly known as Prince Iaukea versus Psychosis with Hoovy for the Cruiserweight title. And then, before the match, Chris fucking Candido comes out to commentary.
So he's done with ECW at this time, moving over to WCW.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he came out to no applause.
People were like,
not a pop or
is it
anything.
Skip or Zip? Which one is it?
Yeah, Skip or Zip. I don't remember.
They had Cloudy at one point. It was sunny, and then...
Yeah. Cloudy days.
Great episode name.
Guessing this is going to be the highlight of the night. Candido asks where his valet is. That was, I thought that was a nice little shot. She's probably out drinking and driving, to be honest with you. Iaukea wins it with a nice jump.
Stop! She's already dead! Not the victims, Sonny.
Not the, well, some of those too. Iaukea retains. Jeans with Bam Bam. He cuts a promo on the Wall. Apparently, Bam Bam brought Wall into the business and taught him. Hooray.
She's coming back.
Lane and Ray versus the Screaming Demons, which is Kiss Demon and Norman Smiley, but dressed as the Demon. Miss Hancock comes to the ring before the Demons do. Okay, this is the highlight of the evening. Then Rave and Lane cut a promo on Miss Hancock. Smiley gets a win with the Smiley Conquest, a.k.a. the Reverse Chicken Wing. Lane and Rave blame Miss Hancock and drag her to the back, but the Demons stop them, bring Miss Hancock back to the ring. Miss Hancock does the wiggle to Smiley. And then the ref does the wiggle. And then the Demon tries to do the wiggle.
Did you say this is the highlight or the low light of the night?
Miss Hancock specifically, I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
The highlight, but, you know.
Stop and wiggle with it. Sorry.
We see Kidman and Booker they're arguing about last week. And we see Crowbar, David, Flair, and Daphne in the back. They tell Daphne to stay in the back. They want revenge on the Wall. And Daphne had her fingers crossed. Next, you got Bam Bam versus the Wall. Bam Bam gets put through a table. Crowbar and David interfere. It's a DQ. Bam Bam gets put on a stretcher. Crowbar and the Wall are on the scaffolding, and the Wall just chokeslams Crowbar down to the stage through the very thin plywood section. And Daphne comes out screaming. Mean Gene is with Brian Knobbs. He dedicates his hardcore title match against 3 Count. He dedicates it to Crowbar and the Wall for the hell they just put each other through because he's hardcore and missing a foot.
Not
yet. Not yet.
It's hanging on by something.
By something.
By a butterfinger. Yo, I'm writing the names down here. I think I just realized why WCW has gone out of business at this point, okay? Wall, Crowbar, Daphne, Norman Smiley, the Kiss Demon, Brian Knobbs. This is what we're putting on a pay-per-view. This is okay, it's quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh, no, it gets better. Speaking of getting better, it's 3 Count. All of them. Because they won the hardcore title. They're defending against Brian Knobbs. Helms has a mask on due to the broken nose, and I kind of got to wonder if he broke his nose and saw that mask. He's like, one day I'm going to do something with this, because the mask that he wore was all black, and it looked very close to the Hurricane mask.
Interesting. I swear to God, I saw him in the mask, or in the protective mask, and I was like, and I broke a nose. It didn't even occur to me for Hurricane in any way. That's so
maybe
crazy.
I'm looking into it, but
No,
it's just
no, but I'm
interesting.
like, it is
he's
funny
like,
seeing him that. Yeah, it's wow. Stand back. There's a broken nose coming through.
I don't remember that time when he played the reporter, too. Anyway, Knobbs wins. Next slide. Gene's with Harlem Heat, the new Harlem Heat. They cut a promo on Booker and Kidman. We see a mysterious limo in the lot as they think it's Jeff Jarrett's insurance policy for the night. We get a rambling Vampiro promo. I like turtles.
I get it.
Yeah, see. Booker and Kidman are with Tori Wilson versus the new Harlem Heat. Booker and Kidman win. Hooray. Ahmed looks terrible, by the way.
Yeah.
Terrible. Let's see, what's next? Fit Finley versus Vampiro. Hardcore Falls Count Anywhere, some bullshit. Naturally, they end up in the bathroom, then outside of the arena. And the best part about this is they're outside the arena. It's like the Fiend Seth Rollins match. There was some weird red light on, and the crowd was so crazy, the camera couldn't get to them to see what was going on. Vampiro wins. Gene's with Disco Dick Nuts and the Mamalukes, Bada Bang or some shit. That leads into the Harris Brothers versus the Mamalukes for the tag titles. Disco Dick Nuts is on commentary. Here's the thing about this match. I started to watch it. It's not that these guys are bad workers. Any of them. They're solid workers. They had a competent match. It's just you have two tag teams nobody gives a shit about fighting for the tag titles.
Yeah. No.
It's fucking ridiculous. Harris Brothers win unceremoniously. Fit Finley decides to cut a promo just to put Vampiro over. Next, you get Dustin Rhodes versus Terry Funk. Funk has Cody with him again. He's got the raw chicken. He refers to it. But then he says, no, I really did bring your little brother here. And a guy in a chicken costume gets in the ring. And there's chicken noises over the PA.
I still can't figure out why WCW has gone under 8 months after this. It's fucking, I can't believe it.
Funk throws this raw chicken at Dustin.
It's so fucking gross, man.
Shivani puts over Beyond the Mat again, talking about Funk's knee problems and the fact that he's still wrestling. The chicken comes back and Dustin beats the teetotal shit out of him. That was the highlight. And then Mark Madden starts saying, the chicken must die, kill the chicken. Then Funk decides it's going to be an I Quit match. The ref's like, no, you can't do that, so Funk takes the ref out. This is the most entertaining thing I've watched so far. Dustin quits, and Tenay shouts, but this is an I Quit match. Ref comes to and tells Funk, no, you got to get a pin or a submission, and Dustin ends up winning. In a moment that you would think only TK was capable of, we have a lumberjack cast match. Remember a few weeks ago I joked about WCW's cast budget?
Yeah.
It's so bad. All the lumberjacks for this match are talent who have had their arms Pillmanized by Luger and are in casts. It's Jimmy Hart, Fit Finley, Brian Knobbs, his foot too, Hennig, Dillinger, Doug fucking Dillinger, the head of security, and Vampiro. So the match is total package versus Sting. Luger gives some bullshit apologies to the Lumberjacks, and he says, well, I got my own Lumberjacks, and I'm calling them to the ring. It's Hugh Morris, the new Harlem Heat, and the Harris Brothers. They're all in casts.
Which is absolutely humorous.
It is absolutely humorous. You want to know why? Because the Harris Brothers, think about their night. All right, guys, you're going to go out there, you're going to wrestle the Mamalukes, you're going to win the tag titles, you're going to come back here, you're going to put the titles down, and then we got to put your arm in a cast.
Which we're not having issues earlier. You didn't wear a cast all fucking night, but now you're gonna. Dude, it makes me wonder. So back in '96, when Owen was wearing the cast for quite some bit. I wonder.
It got dirty.
Yeah, but,
remember it got dirty and
but
dingy?
he was using it to win matches and everything. I wonder if Vince is
Right.
behind that, Vince Russo, and he's like, "Bro, I got it. Everyone's gonna wear a cast."
Maybe. I don't know if Russo was in on everything when they started doing that gimmick. I don't think he was doing the writing just yet.
This is all just
Either
so
way,
very-
yeah, this is terrible.
It didn't even occur to me. I
the
swear to
highlight for
God
this-
that the Harris brothers had the. It didn't even bother. It like I didn't even think about it. I was just like, these motherfuckers are all wearing casts. Like, it's,
Yep. Oh, Harlem Heat too also had to go to the back and be
oh
like,
my God, you're
all
right.
All right,
Everyone-
let's-
and no one sold a wrist injury at all. By the way.
Oh no, they literally were put in cast just because it was
Right.
a lumberjack cast match. Yeah.
Well, hey, that's cool because then you can hit someone with it.
Yeah, I guess. The highlight of this match was Luger getting thrown to the outside and Doug Dillinger laying the boots in on him.
Sad that was the highlight.
Then all the lumberjacks fight off except for Vampiro, but Flair comes down to take him off. Flair goes after Sting. Sting's able to cut him off, though. Jimmy Hart grabs Liz by the hair, drags her off while threatening to whip her with Hogan's weight belt. Luger racks Sting. Vampiro hits Luger in the back with the bat. Sting hits a death drop for the pin. Sting and Vampiro hug. And listen, they really did try, albeit in a WCW way, to put Vampiro over. They really put in the work. Like, this guy, you should like this guy. You should like that guy, too. Yeah. Gene's with Tank Abbott. He cuts a promo on Dillinger. Great. They tease showing who's in the limo. The door opens. They cut away. And Tenay starts freaking out because Jeff Jarrett's heading to the ring. But the format says Hogan Flair is next. Then they cut to Sid, who's just sitting there staring off into space, and a PA tells Sid, "Hey, man, you're up next. Are you sure?"
I like that they break the fourth wall, by
So
the way.
the title match...
But our format here
Yeah.
says this.
Yeah. So your world title match is second last, and Flair Hogan 18 is the main event. I took.
I actually want to go to CageMatch.com and see if I could look that up and see how many pay-per-view or TV matches they had with each other.
Sid versus Jeff Jarrett for the world title. Jarrett teases the ladies getting naked. He says, "Not till after I win the title." Shivani says, "Well, I kind of want Jeff Jarrett to win now." Tenay says it would be one hell of a party. Harris boys interfere while the ref's distracted. We get a ref bump. Jarrett calls his ref to the ring, but he's followed closely by Hogan. Hogan takes the ref out. Harris brothers and Jeff Jarrett out. Sid gets the pin, and then Big Papa Pump comes out, hits Hogan with the guitar. He's teased as the one in the limo. They never really identify that. Steiner just walks off with the title. Hogan's still in the ring laying there. Flair comes to the ring, and their match just starts. Okay. So, Flair versus Hogan 18. It's a strap match. And it's what I would say an actual strap match. You have to touch all four buckles in succession, right? Succession. Mm-hmm. We just talked about that. Jimmy Hart comes to the ring, gets involved a little bit. Both guys get color. And we get the most WCW/AEW finish ever. Hogan taps 3 buckles. He's got 1 to go. Luger interferes, but Hogan hits a big boot on him. Hits a leg drop to Flair. Pins Flair. The ref counts 3. The bell rings. Hogan gets up and touches the 4th buckle. Huh?
You know, someone had to be back in the gorilla
What the
position
fuck?
after he did the pin. They're like, just don't stand up and touch the buckle. Motherfucker, he touched the buckle. God damn it. Oh.
It was fucking awful.
But hey,
absolutely
he works 300
awful.
days a year. I'm fucking around there, right?
Yeah. 372 days a year. Yeah. So we're going to go right to
Wait.
Nitro because things didn't get
Well, we
much
can't.
better.
Commercial break.
After these messages.
We'll be right back.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I was in the middle of a faxing. Welcome to Taco Corp World Headquarters. Introducing Taco Corp's latest venture, the EBDB, Eskimo Brothers Database.
Now you can look up your Eskimo brothers, whoever they are, wherever you are.
We log and catalog your Eskimo family tree for you, so all you have to do is fuck. We take care of the rest.
I've been creating a vast Eskimo Brothers Network database, starting with myself. As you can see Taco here, that is me. Right up there is my Eskimo Brothers. I spent a summer up in the Northwest Territories in Canada. I've been working on Kevin's Eskimo family tree as well. As you can see, Kevin is Eskimo Brothers with Ruxin's dog Kale through Jenny. Join EBDB, the Eskimo Brothers database, and find out who you've slept with has slept with.
The Leap, all new Wednesday at 10, only on FXX.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
The Eskimo Brothers database. You got to understand about that stuff, man. I mean, you never know who you are connected to.
The EBDB.
EBDB.
That's what I said.
You did. Never mind. I don't know why I connected you.
Booby traps. Quiet.
That's what I said. Booty traps.
March 20th, Nitro's from Gainesville, Florida, home of the Gators. Gene's in the ring with Sid. He runs down Jeff Jarrett. Jarrett and the Harris brothers interrupt. Jarrett wants another shot, but he knows Sid won't hand it to him, so he wants a tag match. And if Jarrett pins Sid, he gets the shot. And if Sid pins Jarrett, he'll never get a shot again. Jarrett calls out his partner. It's Big Papa Pump. He has tape over his mouth that says censored, and then he takes it off, cuts a promo on Sid. And Sid says, well, I don't need a partner, but Hogan's music hits. Okay. Team Package has a powwow. Luger wants to take out Vampiro. Flair's going after Sting. We get our Ricky Rackman spring break segment. Gene is with Chavo. Chavo is back. He's mad because he's not in the Cruiserweight tournament. Tournaments. Where have I seen a lot of tournaments before? Never mind. Anyway, the best part of this is Chavo picks Gene's pocket and steals his wallet.
You lie, you cheat, you steal.
Yeah, I guess so. I think he stole his wallet. Ayukea and Paisley go to commentary. We get the beginning of our Cruiserweight tournament. It's Lash LaRue versus Hard Knocks Chris Candido. Candido cuts a promo before the bell, puts himself over as not having a gimmick, just being the best wrestler. LaRue jumps him mid-promo, but Candido ends up winning. Raven Lane see Miss Hancock, pissed she's brushing them off, and Miss Hancock says, I'm bringing two real men to Thunder. Los Fabulosos, a.k.a. El Dandy and Silver King.
That El Dandy is quite a wrestler.
Next, you get Fit Finley versus La Parka. At least we get to see La Parka. La Parka, quote-unquote, speaks for the first time. It was like you in Little Shop of Horror. Some guy was backstage with a microphone talking. Even Shivani called it out.
I like that.
Finley wins. Vampiro's in the boiler room, starts smashing his cast against the wall and rips it off. Thank God. Gene's in the ring. He calls David Flair to the ring. Why? David gets a table out before he even gets in the ring. He says Bam Bam and Crowbar are sharing a hospital room and there's one bed left. I want the wall out here so I can put him through a table. So a Wall comes out. Gene bounces. David goes after the Wall, but Wall grabs him by the throat, starts saying something to him, sets up a choke slam. Daphne sprays Wall with the fire extinguisher. Wall completely no-sells it and just puts David through the table. And it looked nasty because when he went through the table, the part behind his head kicked up and his head bounced off of it. It looked pretty nasty. Let's see. Next, you get Kidman with Tori and Booker versus the Harris Bros for the tag titles. Harris Bros use the title DQ. Tori jumps on their back, throw her off. Kidman hits him with a chair. Hooray. Disco is with the Mamalukes. The Mamalukes run him down. Disco couldn't get him a rematch, so they threaten him and tell him to get him a rematch. Hooray. Next, you got Luger versus Vampiro. Flair comes to the ring, but Vampiro cuts him off. Flair distracts the ref.
I don't think you got it right in the second one.
I think I'm having a stroke. Anyway, ref distraction occurred. Luger uses the bat and racks Vampiro, gets the win. Beat down post-match, Sting makes the save. Let's see. We see a Sid press conference from after the pay-per-view, the most stagiest looking thing ever. Hogan and Jimmy Hart interrupt it. Not in a bad way, but whatever. Next, you get Norman Smiley versus Hugh Morris. Morris wins, but here's the best part. As Hugh Morris is going to hit the moonsault, he's just getting up to the buckle. Music starts playing. Morris hits the moonsault and wins, and then the Kiss Demon shows up. It was the Kiss Demon's music. And then Hugh Morris just takes him out.
So the segment didn't matter, but yeah, it happened.
Exactly.
It was pretty humorous.
Next you get Dustin. It was very Bill DeMott. Next you get Dustin Rhodes versus Kurt Hennig. Dustin works the arm that's in the cast, rips it off. Ref calls a DQ. Dustin takes the ref out. Hogan makes the save.
Now we're just taking everybody's casts off. Everybody had them plastered on last night. Now we're breaking them all. Like we're checking for fucking Contra fucking band.
You're gonna stop doing drug deals with your cop magnet of a cousin? So next it's Tank Abbott versus the Barbarian. We cut to the back. Mang's watching. He's in a knee brace, and he says, "Not long, Tank. Not long at all." And there's a little kid with a title behind him. I'm wondering if that's one of G.O.D. that was behind him.
Interesting. Huh. I wouldn't be able to tell who was who.
Yeah.
Was one of them going,
well, it was a lot higher pitch because he was Lil's balls. Probably. He's not Mexican. But anyway, Barbarian gets in the ring. He picks up the ref. He sits him on the top buckle and tells him, "Stay there." Abbott hits a knockout punch and wins. Hooray. Next, you get Flair versus Sting. Luger runs in. Sting cuts him off. Scorpion deathlock, but Luger pulls the ref out. Bell rings. Luger's in again. Cut off again. Flair hits a low blow. Vampiro makes the save.
Yeah, sounds like the pay-per-view.
All right. On to the main event. It's Jeff Jarrett and Big Papa Pump versus Sid and Hogan. Towards the end of the match, Sid tags Hogan for the hot tag. And, he's kind of coming to a little bit. And he looks up and he sees Hogan cleaning house. He's hearing the crowd chant Hogan. So he chokeslams Hogan, his partner. He turns and then pins him.
I didn't even think it was possible.
I don't know how that works. It's like reassigning the contract. I mean, I guess it's something like that. And the best part is Jeff Jarrett's all happy, but he doesn't get a title shot now. And then Sid screams at Hogan, "Wrong place, wrong time. Good night, folks."
Oh, Christ. You know what? We need another taco commercial break.
After these messages,
we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Taco, President and CEO of Taco Corp. And I want to welcome you to the world's first Eskimo Brothers database bed and breakfast, the EBDB B&B. The EBDB B&B is a comfortable, cozy environment where you and your Eskimo brothers can shack up, hang out, and make more Eskimo brothers.
Can't believe this is what he did with the house I sold him.
Where do you go to put a P in a V? Come on down to the EBDB B&B. If you need any room service or sex toys, just ring the front desk. It's a relaxing, charming, down-home kind of place, and when you hook up, we'll add it to the database. Michael and Jessica slept with each other. Now, if you could just fill out this form, let me know who else you've slept with. I'd appreciate that. How was he? Relax in a hammock or have some iced tea, and please wear a C so you don't get the HIV. And if you're not having sex, just put the disturb sign on the door and someone will be right in to help you get things started. Right this way. There you go. They are right in there.
Wait a second. This is a brothel, right?
Expand your Eskimo family tree at the EBDB B&B. We're not responsible for any STDs. What happens at the EBDB B&B stays at the EBDB B&B. In our video collection. And don't worry, Gupta just watches. This B&B is the place to be if the P is going in the V. Or the M, or if you're lucky, the B. So come on down to the EBDB B&B. We'll be waiting for you.
Just knowing that there's an Airbnb for the EBDB, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, just don't eat the sauce. Don't eat the chorizo, okay? Trust me. Never order BLT. Raw is in Chicago.
It's not. Yeah, it doesn't count. He can't read.
Hip hop. Hippopotamus. Damn it! Why you always give me the hard
I can't
ones?
spell hippopotamus nowadays without going hip hop. Hippopotamus, and I don't know how to spell it now because I'm like, I want to do hip hop and then the word anonymous right after. All right, Raw.
Raw is in Chicago. Michael Cole is with Vince and the Stooges. They tease Vince having an announcement, and that Briscoe says, "Oh, announce the tag tournament." So basically, tonight on Raw, they're going to have a tag tournament, and then at the end, the winners of each match of that tournament are going to be in a battle royal to get number one contendership at WrestleMania for the tag titles. Okay. Patterson talks about another...
Oh, my God. I actually remember this now. Oh, my God. It's all coming back to me on how this whole thing gets set up.
Let's see here. So Cole starts kissing Vince's ass. Apparently, he was just on Saturday Night Live. So Vince does live from Chicago. It's Monday Night Raw.
Wasn't him. If I'm not mistaken, it was Triple H and Rock, and other people showed up.
Gotcha.
I think it was Rock that was hosting.
You're probably right. You're probably right. All right, well, they were kissing.
Oh, I know I am. I'm just,
that's fine. That's why they call you the professor.
Bret Hart gets Mad TV. Rock gets Saturday Night Live.
Well, let's be honest. Mad TV had more black chicks, so that's where Bret wanted to go.
I'm sure I've said this, but maybe I don't know if I've said it on the air or not. My favorite meme is because he's married to a black woman nowadays too, I believe, right? And it says when he saw Salt and Pepper at WrestleMania 11, he's like, "Oh, it's all changing from here."
Yeah, something got him. I don't know. Yeah.
Fuck his wife. His wife was a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, the documentary didn't help too much.
No.
Definitely not.
Well, this whole Hunter, God's going to come and strike you down. And he's like, "That's fine. I'm going to own this company. Go fuck yourself." he had his head down. He's like, "It's fine. It's fine."
DX comes
my one more, I got to say this, is Sean saying to Bret, because obviously he's a fucking born again.
Swear to God, I didn't know.
He goes, "My hand to God, Bret, I had nothing to do with this." And I was like, God knows you said this, okay? It doesn't matter what you do later in life. God heard you say that to Bret.
The fuck I did. Yeah. So DX comes out to their new Run DMC intro. I forgot all about that.
The King of Rock. Who? The King of Rock. What?
Yep.
Yeah, that's it was the what was it? The WWE Aggressive. No, what was it? There was a new album coming out.
I don't remember what the album is. They didn't push it yet. Yeah.
They are going to be pushing it soon. That there's like a whole album where everybody's theme is remixed with a little bit of like funk or rap or heavy metal, and it might have been Aggression. I'm going to look into it. Why don't you talk about Raw?
I'm going to talk about Raw. Road Dogg and X-Pac versus the Hardys in your first tag team eliminator match. Kane comes to the ring, goes after X-Pac. Tori stops him. That allows Hardy to get the win. Hardy shoved Tori right into Kane. Kane chokeslams Tori. And JR says, "Tremendous choke slam to the Jezebel." Triple H and Stephanie come to the ring for your typical show opening promo that goes way too long. They cut a promo on The Rock. Triple H calls out Vince's announcement, wants Vince to give him the good news face-to-face. But Big Show and Shane come to the ring. Shane says Triple H should defend the title against Show tonight. And Triple H says, "You know what? I'll defend the title tonight, but just not against Big Show." Vince comes out and says Triple H is going to defend the title tonight against the Big Show and The Rock. And says, "Let's have our WrestleMania main event here tonight." Okay. Sure.
I mean, I've seen this match before, but
Yeah.
Okay, you could put that label on it.
And
by the
Triple
way,
H says,
it was the Aggression album.
There you go.
It
You
will
were
be
right.
coming out with that on it. Because I remember I was like, "Oh, you guys are ruining some really good songs here by adding this bullshit." And I like Run DMC.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they got to make money. That was the Limp Bizkit phase probably, so they were probably trying to capitalize off of that.
Well, you see, Run DMC, they taught me to walk this way and talk this way.
Shut up.
Shut it.
Shut it. Triple H says if this match happens tonight, it's not happening at Mania. It'll never happen again. Yeah, we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Next, you get the Godfather versus Boss Man with Bull Buchanan.
I know.
And it just turns into a 2-on-1 assault, and Boss Man and Bull Buchanan leave. Lasted like 30 seconds. X-Pac and Road Dogg are in Triple H's locker room. They're pissed off about Kane. They want Triple H to do something, so they book Kane in a match against Rikishi. That ought to do it. Next, you get Too Cool versus Saturn and Malenko as part of the tag team eliminator. Too Cool pull off the upset. Next, you get Kane versus Rikishi Fatu. DX run in to beat down Kane. Rikishi takes him out. Next, you get Jericho versus Benoit. It's kind of been like a three-way program here. Jericho, Benoit, and Angle. Angle's on commentary, and at one point he flippantly says he's going to put both titles up in a triple threat match at Mania. Angle hits a heat shot to Benoit with the title while the ref's distracted. Jericho gets the win. Bob Backlund comes out. Jericho takes Backlund out, but then Angle attacks Jericho with the title. And then they cut to Angle and Backlund walking backstage celebrating the win. There's some guy sitting there on an equipment case reading the newspaper and just puts his hand up for a high five. And then there's this awkward pause. And Backlund tells the guy, stand up. I want you to stand up if you're going to give me a high five. And then they just cut away.
First of all, I'm sure that it was a planned spot, but it's also that's who Backlund is. Do you know that if you went to him and said, "Can I get an autograph from you?" he asks you to recite certain things about U.S. history or about
yes. I've heard that.
What's the capital of this and this? Like the only thing I would have one up on would be I know all 50 states, no problem. Like just I in alphabetical order was a song, but he's a dick. Mm-hmm. Mr. Backlund, can I get your autograph? Who was the 17th president? Fuck you. I don't need your goddamn autograph.
Choke on it. Next, you get a head cheese skit, and there's a guy there dressed as Ben Franklin. Why not? We get the Hollies versus Head Cheese on a tag team eliminator. Taz runs in, just starts going for Crash's hardcore title. They fight off into the concourse, and much like WCW, the crowd's blocking the cameraman from getting a shot of the action. So they just cut back to the ring. Head Cheese wins. We get some snippets of the Run DMC DX video. We got a GTV segment. It's back.
I know, randomly.
It's randomly, very randomly. It's Miss Kitty talking with Terry. Terry starts talking about cramping and then disses Miss Kitty for not being on TV anymore. Sure.
Solid segment.
Yeah, amazing. Next, you get Edge and Christian versus the Acolytes in the tag team eliminator. Mideon shows up, has a mop in his hand, goes for a shot with the mop, but Edge reverses the Irish whip. Edge and Christian win. APA beat the shit out of Mideon. This has been a week of debuts, and we got another one here. It's Val Venus versus Test with his new valet, who debuted on SmackDown, by the name of Trish Stratus.
Yep.
Test wins quick. Venus brawls post-match with Test, but Prince Albert comes in, press slams Val Venus. Trish, for some reason, gets on the mic and says, "You're looking at T and A." Get it? Well, if you didn't, she fucking spells it out for you and says, Test and Albert.
Oh, damn it. I wish she didn't. I was going to say it.
Well, that's what King said. King's like, that's not the TNA I was thinking about. You think? All right. We go to Edge and Christian versus the Hardys versus Too Cool versus Head Cheese in your tag team battle royale to see who's the number one contender at WrestleMania for the tag titles. Dudley's joined commentary. It comes down to Edge and Christian and the Hardys. And then the Dudleys just ruin it. They hit a 3D on Edge, then on Matt. And then they avalanche powerbomb Jeff through Christian through the table.
I'm calling a triple threat.
Yeah, it's pretty plain. Yeah, I mean, we know where this goes. So, All right, main event. It's Triple H versus The Big Show versus The Rock for the world title. I'm going to get right to it. Triple H retains. Rock chases Shane through the crowd, and then we hear the No Chance in Hell music. And it's Linda McMahon. And she says, in regards to the main event at WrestleMania, you, Triple H, The Rock, The Big Show, a special ingredient needs to be added. And this McMahon is making the final decision. At WrestleMania, it will be a fatal four-way between Triple H.
Stop.
Collaborate and listen.
Which version did you watch?
The one that you gave me.
All right. Did you notice that Triple H dove at somebody?
I did.
You just completely glossed right over it.
I didn't. I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Oh, I thought it was before.
It happens after what I was about to say.
Oh!
But go ahead, step on my dick some more. You take the rest of it.
So as Linda is announcing that it's going to be a fatal four-way, he literally put the mic away and is drinking a beer. This is the one where a fan jumps. Was he trying to take out Linda or Triple H? I don't know what he was trying to do, but Triple H had to run a good couple of feet, spear the dude to the fucking ground. Linda didn't move it in. She was like, okay, I'm going to wait and let this happen. And then, okay, now you can take the rest of it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to stop.
Oh, can I? Thank you. They probably had that, I forget the guy's name, the security guard, who I found out is actually a friend of The Undertaker's. That's how he got the gig.
Oh.
Vince wanted him to be a wrestler, and he's like, nah, I'm all set.
Interesting.
So, but yeah, it's funny. At first, when I first saw it, I kind of thought that the idea was that Stephanie was going to charge at her mother, and Triple H stopped her. But then I went back and watched it, and I'm like, he tackled way too hard for that to have been Stephanie. Yep. Yeah, so yeah, somebody, and you only get a quick glimpse of it, but yeah, Triple H was sprinting full bore, and he got that.
And it's funny because every time I've seen that, like a lot of the comments are like, and this is the day Vince is like, okay, you could be my son-in-law. Like, if he was going after Linda or whatever, okay, you earned it.
Right. So Linda says it's going to be a fatal four-way. Mick Foley's the fourth. Big pop. Foley takes it to Triple H and takes Show and Triple H out with the title. Everybody goes home happy.
And it's Mick Foley. Not Cactus.
Mick Foley.
Not Mankind. It's Mick Foley heading into this match, which is kind of a cool thing because he's only wrestled, I think, probably as that at that point just then. And then after that, maybe I'm pretty sure that's all he went by is... Yeah, because like when he did WrestleMania, when he did the Orton match, I think he was just Mick Foley. So,
yeah, he would wear the Cactus Jack-ish outfit, the sweatpants,
and the blue
and the flannel.
Yep.
But he was still Mick Foley. He just didn't have the Cactus T-shirt on. Usually.
I just didn't think man, that's wow. We watched him retire the character completely. He's done with it. I mean, like he may have pulled it back out for every now and then or some shit, but yeah, wow, he actually retired during these the wars. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, and it's funny. We talked about the Hell in a Cell match we just saw. I forgot that this match was coming up next. But yeah, after this, he's really not doing in-ring stuff anymore. Minus
then he's gonna fucking shave his head and become the GM.
The GM,
so.
yeah.
Not shave it like Bick it, but like
buzz it.
A good crew cut. Yeah, the Owen Hart cut, if you will.
Look out below.
You dick. Let's go to the topic.
It's your birthday today. What does that mean? I guess I'll try to explain that 21 years ago on this day, it was the first time your parents saw your beautiful face. And 9 months before that magical day, your dad probably took your mom out on a date, and they were having a good time. They were dancing and drinking wine. And when they got home, they were horny as hell. And your dad threw your mom down on the bed, and he tore her panties off. And his penis was hard as a rock. And then your mom really wanted to give your dad head, but your dad also wanted to give was 69, and your mom came at least 3 times. And then your dad was so excited to get inside your mom that he forgot to put a condom on. And when he realized his mistake, he had ejaculated and it was too late. And then your mom got pregnant and your dad started crying. He wanted your mom to get an abortion, but your mom wanted a child. And 9 months later you were born. And then 5 months later your parents got a divorce. Happy birthday, Natasha.
When they got home, your dad was horny as hell. He threw your mom down on the bed. His wee-wee was hard as a rock.
Wee-wee?
I love when Pete puts his beer up in the air like, yes, my jam. He wanted to give her head. She wanted to give him head. So they formed a 69. The League. I put it off for quite some time because I was just getting into It's Always Sunny on FX, and this would come on right after it, and I was like, I don't have time for other shit. I got one that's the newest one I can get into. And I think one of the main reasons is I used to feel and think that Nick Kroll rubbed me a wrong way. I'm like, I just don't really like him. I don't know what it is. But through this show, I'm a Nick Kroll fan.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I mean,
Forever Unclean.
Just every little thing. And Forever Unclean is a hysterical thing. It's funny because when I first started watching, I was like, I don't know how in the world you actually can get it down. But after saying it for 5 seasons, I know it's Shiva Kamini Somakondakrom.
Yep.
I mean, that's a lot to say. But then, especially when you put it to the song.
Oh yeah, the song's the best.
What is that? It's like a
Hava Nagila.
Jewish. Yeah.
Shiva Kamini Soma Kandakram. Shiva Kamini Soma Kandakram. Hey! And fucking Ruxin's doing the fucking Jewish dance at the end.
Yep.
He did a pretty good job too.
And it's funny the random times that comes up, like when they're actually at her house and the one dude has to run outside just to go yell her name because he's like, I
Shiva Blast.
like,
Shiva Blast.
Yeah, the Shiva Blast. But then also when his wife Jenny jacks it in the car, and when she comes, she yells Shiva Kamini Soma Kunda Crow, and you see everybody outside watching. They're like, yeah. Oh my god. It has I don't know his name in real life, man, but whoever plays Raffi he's hysterical. I've seen him originally. He was in Dirty Grandpa, which I always love. In Dirty Grandpa, he's like, Pam. They're like, your name's Pam? He's like, yeah, short for Pamela. It's like, you're like, oh, it really is. But he is hysterical in the League, and he doesn't even come in until like maybe a couple of seasons, and then he's very sparse because he's Ruxin's brother-in-law. Oh my god,
Brolo El Cañado.
Oh my god, they do have a lot of actual NFL players that do get into the show. Like, and then even more so is when you're hearing things and you're like, oh my god, you think about, you're like, all right, what season? What did this show? Like, what year was it? And you're like, okay, 2009, 2010. They're like, well, Terrell Owens is on the Bills. He could be a pretty good draft. You're like, motherfucker, they were going with accurate, up-to-date things.
Oh yeah.
But it was crazy watching and listening, like who they were drafting. Taco's hysterical. Like he's like, wait, you guys change your order each week?
Yep. Likes to draft a lot of kickers. I like one of my favorite Rafi moments. He's talking about Ruxin. He's like, Whitney Houston's dead? Did anybody tell Michael Jackson? Oh, buddy.
Oh my god. The one episode I didn't care for is the one where it turned into like an animated bullshit with him and Seth Rogen. I also don't like Seth
Dirty
Rogen.
Randy.
Yeah.
Oh, but he was still funny. What about when they're in Deion Sanders' new apartment?
Yes.
The Mayan cockocalypse.
What did they name the baby?
Oh, Batman Chalupa.
Batman Chalupa. And they were doing the draft while she's in the middle of giving birth. They're like, sorry, we have to do this.
And he breaks down what was it, the fucking the running back. He used to play for the Vikings. Fucking monster season. Oh, I'm fucking blanking on. He's like, with the exception of one guy recovering from an ACL tear in 6 months, and he was 21 at the time. Adrian Peterson, that's who it was.
Peterson. The dude, it's like I said, it actually got me into Fantasy League even more, which is funny because I did the Wrestling League before watching the League. But it's hysterical. Like, especially the one where Ruxin knows everybody fucking cheated the round when he wasn't there or whatever, and he just keeps knowing and everything that happens, and oh my god, wasn't like they had like the plan B scenario or whatever it was, like if Ruxin had drafted, and they're like, fuck, he actually would have won.
Yeah, that's where he strokes out.
Oh my god, that's right. Which I thought he was faking. I thought it was just whatever. I'm like, wow,
right.
It's just the league is so stressful on him that he actually stroked out. In
No.
the videos,
No.
the videos they send to each other.
Oh my god!
And they'll be watching him at work. What's up, dick lickers? Guess what? I'm in first place. And it's like, man, that's the shit that made me like have fun during the league when we were doing the wrestling one, man.
The plea bargain in the first episode, because Ruxin's a defense lawyer, Kevin is a DA or an assistant DA, and so he's like, Ruxin's like, I gotta do one of these pro bono cases, once or twice a year. So he does that. Pardon me, my phone's ringing because somebody from work thinks it's acceptable to call me at 6 p.m. And he's like, they're trying to plea deal, and he's like, he'll only plea him down if Ruxin trades his number one pick. And they go back, and the criminal's like, excuse me, what's happening? He's like, respect the sidebar. So he trades him, and he goes, and the guy's like, well, what just happened here is like, you're going to jail for 6 months, and I just lost Adrian Peterson. You had to rob 3 stores. You didn't stop at the first one.
Could you imagine if that was some real shit, though? Like, people have like real bets going on, and your lawyers are really fucking doing a fucking fantasy draft on the side. Oh, it's a tremendous show, and it's funny because like there's certain, like I said, certain people are like, all right, I guess I'll try to. Sometimes I don't like. This sounds horrible. I hate sometimes learning and watching new shows because I gotta learn their characters, I gotta learn everybody. You know what I mean? It's
right.
It's a task.
It's an investment. Yeah,
it is. And Jenny gets hotter to me as the fucking show goes on. I'm like, oh my god, she's tremendous. Same with like Nick Kroll, not gets hotter, but he gets better in the show for me. But it's funny because long before I ever watched this show, before I think I even met you, or maybe at the time I met you, I was hearing a song randomly all the time. It was a popular fucking, not a Vine or a viral thing, whatever you want to call it. And what's Taco's name? John, like LaJory or some shit like that in real life?
Yes, something like that. Yeah,
he has that song. You're talking to me about stuff. Why? I'd rather see your titties. You're talking to me about other stuff. Why? I'd much rather see your titties. Show me your genitals. Your genitals. Show me your genitals. Genitalia. That was a ringtone on my phone for like a while.
All right. There you go.
But I didn't realize that's who it was. And then as the show goes on, his musical shit, like the Airbnb, EBDMB, the
Ghost
Notary,
Monkey.
the Ghost Monkey. Oh my God. He's hysterical.
Naginta.
Oh my God.
Naginta. So here's the funny thing about that. So he's taking like kung fu classes or something like that, right? And he's riding a bike around with this thing called a Naginta. A Naginta is basically like a big staff with like a shortened katana at the end of it, right? So it's, you know, and he sings a song. He keeps calling it his Naginta. Andre wants to appear less racist, so he has a white clothes only party where he invites all of his black friends and this black doctor he's trying to partner with. And Taco sings the song about his Naginta. Here's the best part. After I saw that episode, I was watching Forged in Fire. And, you know, and at the end of Forged in Fire, every episode, the two finalists are given a mystery weapon that they have to forge at home. Mm-hmm. Well, they had a Naginta for one of them, and I started howling. Here's the best part. Do you know how to actually pronounce what that weapon is called?
No.
A Naginata.
That's even better.
Exactly. It's even better.
You wrote a whole song called
you wouldn't know any.
I had no clue.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. Exactly.
That's even better. Man, when you said Andre, it just reminded me, like, poor him. Everybody just shits on that poor dude. And then he finally gets like the really hot girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, nah, there's something up. But the
mouth like anus.
Yup. Oh my God, that's right. But what I was gonna say is Raph with his own sister to Ruxin. He's like, yo, she is hot. Are you fucking that? You should be. Man, I would. It's so fucked up.
How about when Jenny makes the lo mein, but she ended up using like Taco's pot stash.
Oh my God,
for the seasoning, gets all the kids stoned.
Yep.
But she goes to learn how to make the noodles from the one chef. Is it Bobby Lee?
Oh, it is Bobby Lee. That's right.
But he's slow. He's like mentally challenged, and he's just.
What happened at, I feel like it was like Andre's apartment. Oh my God, they fucking filmed a porn there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Jesus.
And he had the ring, his championship ring he bought himself, fell in between the cushions, and he was making Ruxin kiss it.
Oh my God. And then the Shiva trophy itself is just pretty hysterical.
Oh yeah.
It's funny because, what is it? They just had an obsession with her because she was hot in school. Was that what it was?
I think so, yeah. From high school, yeah.
It's just hysterical.
Yeah, that they obsessed about her that much.
Oh, so that's why Tiger Queen is all about Kelly Kapowski.
That what was it? What was it? The Herdsman. Yeah. Oh man!
If you haven't checked out the league, we highly suggest it.
Yeah, we could just sit here and do quotes all day.
And that's just it. It's kind of like It's Always Sunny. It's just there's a lot of good storylines to it, but it's the quotes, it's the things that are said that make it the absolute best. Definitely check out the league if you haven't. At least some of the songs that we talked about with Taco, John LaJory. Just some of those alone will suck you into the show, I think. Next week, we are going to be back with the top of today's crop with the women's division. So, Cher Lit Flair, or I like to call Reed. We'll see where she ends up in this whole thing. But,
God damn it.
Boom. We're back next week. I'm the Professor. I bid you a farewell. He's ODM. His thoughts are coming at you in 3, 2, 1.
I have no thoughts other than you stepping on my dick again, you fucking twat. Yeah, I don't know where to go from here. Good talk, good episode, feeling good. Can't wait to do the logo. I hear voices in my house, so either somebody broke in or my son's actually home, and I got to call this jag off from work back. So see you next week, folks.
Soma Kanda Kram Shiva Kamini Soma Kanda Kram Shiva Kamini Soma Kanda Kram Shiva Kamini Soma Kanda Kram Hey! Shiva Kamini Soma Kanda Kram Shiva Kamini Soma Kanda Kram Hey! Shiva Kamini Soma Kanda Kram Shiva Kamini Soma Kanda Kram Hey!
The Top of Wrestling Podcast is brought to you by The Top of Wrestling Podcast. Your hosts are the Professor Mark Fantasia and ODM, the Doc, Joe Rizzo. Feel free to reach out to the show by email at thetopofwrestling@gmail.com, on their Facebook page, Twitter page, Instagram page. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. You can listen to the show on most popular platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music, Pandora, and YouTube. Without your continued support, it would be just some guys talking wrestling, which is pretty much what it is anyway. Good night, folks.
Niginta, big black Niginta, 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 deadly Niginta, Niginta. Everyone's afraid of my Niginta. They think Nigintas are dangerous, so they don't want them around us. Niginta safety. You just have to maintain control of your Niginta. Don't let it get too close to your loved ones, and when you're not using it, keep it locked up. Niginta, please. Niginta, Niginta, big black Niginta.
All natural, baby. Sweet low, sweet cherry.
Sweet low, sweet cherry.
We used to make love in the mud, often in the mud. A guy could roll in
hand would
there.
slip in,
It was like a man could roll in there. You had no way of knowing.
Hey, sorry I'm late. What did I miss? Somebody got killed. Great. I'll be right back.
Let me just get settled. I'll be right back. That and then what's
cool costume, Creed? Yeah, costume.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Wow, this is perfectly timed. When Holly goes, what do you do? What is this lady's deal? Asking what I do. Really, what is it? What do I do here? Quazo something. But I'm going to figure it out. That and then the Bow Body. What are we doing? We're making acronyms.
Oh, Body. What does the first P stand for? Business. I like it. www.creedthoughts.com. Check it out.
And then the best one. They're the same picture. Just I like that he goes, I already see one.
What'd I ever do to you? It's not what you did to me. It's what you did to her.
Why am I losing it? Oh my god, it has.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Did I ever tell you? No, I have. We've talked about this, right? Have we ever talked about Little Shop of Horrors?
You'll be a dentist. What?
Did we ever talk? Yo, all right, first of all, I love... It's just... low key, he beats the fuck out of the chick, and everybody's like, let's make a musical out of this. Like, he beats the fuck out of this chick. But, did I ever tell you about being in that play?
Yes.
How I got paid to be the plant? Sitting, yeah. Best fucking money I've ever made, and all I had to do was just sit there and, like, just use my own voice, because no one had a deep bass voice, but, I always laugh. He's just beating the fuck out of this woman. I'm like, these are kids playing this, and they're learning early.
Stop. She's already dead.
She's already dead.
Episode name.